My name's Rhapsody and welcome back to Hearthstone Arena. I'm trying. I am trying. But then we kind of like flop over at the finish line. So let's see if we can actually get a good run. So I'm going to eschew any of the requests that would result in kind of failure. There is a request for a ramp druid.
You are right to awaken.
So that is Signature's request for a ramp druid. If it's viable, I'll put in ramp elements, but you know, if it's wacky and completely not possible to do, well then. I mean, like, because specific archetypes for decks are really difficult to build into them. Power of the Wild is far more versatile than any of the rest of the cards. Druid of the Fang is quite good, especially considering I already have two beasts. The Power of the Wild Panther is a beast. Yeah, sure. I'd love to take the Bloodfen Raptor as a Druid of the Fang trigger, but the Harvest Golem is far too valuable. Swipe. It's always swipe when you get swipe, it's always swipe. Out of these, I kind of want to take the Silver Moon Guardian. Yeah. Hello, nerfed Undertaker. No, you're definitely not worth my while. I'll take a Flying Machine, which is unfortunate. I don't want to have that. Oh, Ancient of Law for the card draw. Hell yes. Knife Juggler is a strong 3-2. Then another Power of the Wilds, because this needs combo elements. This is a combo element, but incidentally, by itself, it is also a strong card. So that makes Power of the Wild better. Stampeding Kodo is another trigger for the Druid of the Fang. Spider Tank is just too powerful on turn 3 to turn down. Druid of the Claw, always an amazing card. I kind of want to tend my curve a little to the left, because Arena's been far more aggressive recently. Oh, it piloted Shredder versus a Chewin Yeti. That's an unfortunate choice to have to make. I'll take the Yeti. It's unfortunate, though. That's a mech, that's a mech, that's a mech, and... oh, if I just pick that other one. So I've got 3 mechs. I think I can rely on the Mech Warper being, you know, giving me value sometimes, which might be super worthwhile. There we go. I don't have enough things with high health to utilize the Dark Scale Healer, do I? Kind of. But that's the Wild Growth. That would be for the Ramp Druid. Alright. Alright. It's viable enough that I'll pick it. Micro Machine can go Micro Mental, but we also don't have any high end, so I will take 1 Force Tank Max. Another Stampeding Kodo. Yep. I was thinking about the Mech Bearcat for a while, but really another Stampeding Kodo? That's gonna be awesome. Starfire is removal plus draw a card, so really never gonna pass that up if I can. Gnomish Adventure is draw a card, so could pass that up, but not going to. Gilded Stalker just sits in wait until... oh god, Innovate? Wrath is such a good card, but Innovate could get me out a Stampeding Kodo really early, or... I don't think I have enough... I'm gonna have to pick a higher curve if I'm gonna take this Innovate. So this is definitely going to be my attempt at doing a Ramp Druid. Okay, so Harvest Golem, because my 3 slot is a little low. Could I take the Abusive Sergeant just to try and drop my curve a little bit? I could, but I think the Fairy Dragon's more often going to be useful. Scarlet Crusader, because it's an amazing 3, and you don't get too many of those. Should I take 1 Healing Touch? Just to heal myself up, so that I can be more aggressive. I mean, I'm only going to be hitting with my face with my hero ability and Claw. I don't think that's enough to justify a 3 mana heal 8 health. I will take the Voodoo Doctor though, because it's actually a minion on the board, so against any class that doesn't do 1 damage, it'll be really worthwhile, because it might take out a 3-2, right? Spider Tank. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5... oh, Power of the Wild plus Violet Teacher is really good. Alright, I'll take it. I kind of wanted to get more on the high end so that I could justify the pick of the Innovate. This only has 2 kind of ramp elements, and that's the Wild Growth and the Innovate. Other than that, it's closer to a Token Druid with the Power of the Wild and a Violet Teacher. But overall, it's just really solid value cards. I'm pretty sure I'll go at least 7 wins with this deck. Oh! Did I not mention? There's a new thing! Look at this pretty thing that's going on in this general vicinity. Yes. We're upping production quality here at Rhapsody HQ. Gonna look a little better from now on.
Watch your
Mech Warper. Okay. Mech Warper Flying Machine. Flying Machine's still horrible, regardless of having a Mech Warper. I will keep the Mech Warper because it is a 2-3 for 2. That's the reason I picked the Mech Warper fairly confidently, because it's a 2-3 for 2, even if I don't end up, you know, using it. Okay, don't play anything. Fuck you. That's so bad. I wanted to coin the Mech Warper this turn, then next turn I'd be able to play a Spider Tank. But my opponent's just gonna Dagger Mastery and hit my Mech Warper. And then run their creature in. So do I play slower?
What to do?
Because if I coin that and then play the Mech Warper, my opponent's next turn has to be Dagger plus Clockwork Gnome running into mine. Dagger takes up all of their mana. And then I Power of the Wild, unless they have a Backstab. Okay. I think against an aggressive deck like Rogue, I can't afford to play slowly. So I need to force the Rogue to make a dagger and use the Clockwork Gnome in order to kill my Mech Warper, and then naturally play my Power of the Wild. Even though I could get that for free with a Hero Power, I'd have to wait until next turn, right? So my opponent could have developed a 3-2 this turn, I get to kill their 2-1, and then they have a 3-2 and whatever they get with 3 mana, and it starts to ball out of control. Could not let that happen. Plus, it's not like I have a horrible curve. 3, 4, 5. I'm in a pretty solid position. Yeah, that's 1 damage. I'll play the Spider Tank rather than Hero Power it. Because if I Hero Power it, I have nothing left on the board, but if the Spider Tank kills it, I have a 3-3 left on the board. Hey, Silvermoon Guardian's gonna be really good against that Piloted Shredder, actually. Probably. Oh, Stampeding Kodo has a fair chance of actually killing whatever comes out of that as well. Oh, that'll be good. My opponent is robbed of the ability to attack my face. Because if they don't remove the Divine Shield as well as attack my face, I get to kill that for free. Using exactly the 3 damage from the Silvermoon Guardian and taking what would have been lethal on it. That's a super useful Divine Shield right there. I've got to remember that one of the cards in my opponent's hand should not make me sad at all. It's just... Haha, yeah! Caught one. Caught slightly less of one. Okay. So I can attack forwards and then I can Druid of the Claw. I can Stampeding Kodo. Right. That'll force my opponent to make a dagger next turn in order to deal with a 3-1.
What to do?
So if I'm going to Stampeding Kodo, it doesn't matter which of the 2-3s I attack because they'll both end up dead. And there's no way that that's a different play. Or I can run the Silvermoon Guardian into this and then play the Stampeding Kodo. I might leave the more important one on the field, like maybe he has pirates. Maybe they have pirates, my apologies. Then there's a 4-3 facing down my... No, it's actually better to leave more of my minions on the board. Because both of my minions pose a threat to the Spellbreaker, so this requires my opponent actually using 2 mana to build the dagger to kill the Silver Moon Guardian here. It's my opponent's turn, right? Why is the end turn button still lit up? Blizzard, please fix this game-breaking bug. Oh, that's unfortunate. Let's just hope my opponent can't develop anything as a result. Then I can Spider Tank Harp's Golem. Oh. It still looks like Spider Tank Harp's Golem is my best play. So, either of these can be removed with both the dagger and the Bloodfen Raptor. So the dagger and the Bloodfen Raptor deal 4 damage, Spider Tank is gone. The Bloodfen Raptor kills the Harvest Golem, and then the damaged Golem is killed by the dagger. Gone. Obviously, the better play is to kill the Spider Tank. I've got my Ancient of Law next turn, which I'm pretty psyched about. It's a 7 mana 5/5. Also draw 2 cards. Oh, that's a shame. Not super useful unless my opponent has something to combo off the back of it. But a shame nonetheless. That Stampeding Kodo is probably going to be fairly useful next turn. I was kind of hoping to get, like, Innovate. What else? Innovate and the other card. Power of the Wild. For the Violet Teacher. So I can kill this with the Stampeding Golem. Stampeding Kodo, sorry, plus a Shapeshift. Or I can just develop 2 things to the board, Chillwind Yeti and Violet Teacher. I actually think ultimately that's going to be my better decision.
Pay attention, class.
Because my opponent can't destroy both forms of the Harvest Golem this turn. So even if I do get value out of my hero power, I need to develop a board. And the Stampeding Kodo is not going to be enough of a board. This is more than twice as much board. It's beautiful. That's the wrong one. Okay, so what cards does my opponent have in hand if they feel powerful enough to go for face here? Oh, fuck yeah. I could Wild Growth for a 1/1 and then Power of the Wild and get 2 2/2s. If I'm doing that, I want to play Stampeding Kodo first, correct? Yeah. So, Stampeding Kodo. Or I could just be... So this is a 2/2 right now. In fact, I'm not actually going to use it. It's fine. I'll use this to kill this. Then Power of the Wild for +1/+1, which allows my Chillwind Yeti to kill his Chillwind Yeti. And also develops a 2/2 for me. Game's over. I don't think there's anything my opponent has that can clear this. Also, next turn, this is a really interesting thing. Next turn, Wild Growth gains an empty mana crystal, right? But since I have 10, it actually swaps itself out for another spell. Eviscerate, Eviscerate? Ha! Caught one.
Well played.
Anyway, Wild Growth swaps itself out for another spell, the other spell being excess mana. You play that spell, so they both count as spells, so you get 2 1/1s. So let's make sure we have lethal. Yeah, we totally do.
Where shall I strike?
Goodbye.
Instruction begins.
For the wild.
I shall do as you say.
Score 1-0. If we played slowly at the start, like literally, I think if we did not coin out that Mech Warper, we would have lost the game. I think it's actually that important that we played that Mech Warper. Even though we were sacrificing it, we had to slow down our opponent's tempo, and Arena is much more about tempo than it is about value recently, because there's so many more aggressive cards off the back of the... Well, so many more aggressive cards that don't leave the board, right? They stick to the board. Like, Harvest Golem sticks to the board, it was always there, right? But Piloted Shredder, all of the Shredder cards, basically, Haunted Creeper actually is quite... Ooh, this could be a pretty good opener. Yeah. I'll keep it, and I think it's going to be a pretty good opener because if I innovate out the Stampeding Kodo, not only am I getting a fairly valuable dude on the board, but I'm also destroying an opponent's dude, so I'm actually swinging the board state heavily in my favor. It's also worth noting that the Stampeding Kodo is just above the value at which it would be able to be just above the True Silver Champion. It's just above the health point for True Silver Champion. So I'm coining my Wild Growth because yeah, I have to be aggressive, so I actually can't wait Wild Growth next turn and then do stuff. Also, if my opponent plays a powerful 2-3, or just a 2-3 at all... That's perfect. That is perfect. I'm going to innovate out the Stampeding Kodo. And I've got a really powerful start on my hands now. I'm a little lower on cards, but I do have the ability to replenish those cards off of Starfire, Gnomish Inventor, and the Ancient of Law. Hero Power past turn. So I'm going to try and do all I can to make sure that this doesn't go down to 4 health. Because as soon as this goes down to 4 health, it's going to get killed by a True Silver Champion on turn 4. I had the coin, so if my opponent... Well played. Thank you.
My ancestors watch over.
Oh, okay, so that's definitely trying to get me to kill it. Well, ooh, I could claw Shapeshift. No. This allows me to develop more things onto the field. I would also use Power of the Wild for the ++ if this wasn't on this health point. It's also important that I do both of these after killing the Tauren Warrior, because the Tauren Warrior actually has an ability. That's right, Taunt Enrage for +3 attack. Did you know that? No one seems to know that, because it's horrible. If you had Consecrate, you definitely Consecrate there, so I think I can say that my opponent doesn't have Consecrate.
Where shall I strike?
So I'm gonna put this in bear form. Oh hey, it hit. Excellent. Even if my opponent does have Consecrate, they're taking a total of 7 damage next turn. And I'm developing a Chillwind Yeti. Oh shit. I've got 3 in hand. I've got 9 on board, so 12. And then I've got 16 damage total. Okay. It's just how it goes. I'm starting to understand how Arena is recently, I believe. Or at the very least, this kind of points towards, yeah, I'm understanding a little bit more about it. Just a little. Avenging Wrath would be the worst thing you could play now. Or a Quality Consecration. But if... that's such a stretch.
Handle it!
Not on my watch.
It's a very good play. It's just nowhere near enough to keep him alive.
The victory is played.
2. Excellent. Keep them alive. God damn it, I keep going back to gendered terms. My apologies. If we get to 4 and 0, I think I'll cut to a part 2 then. Yep, that seems correct. Don't mind me, just drinking energy drinks, as I am often wont to do.
Your soul shall be mine!
Hey, innovate.
I must protect the wild.
Only because I have such a strong 2 and such a strong 3 to back it up. On turn 1, if I need to, I could innovate out Harvest Golem. So, I innovate Harvest Golem, and then I've got a 2, and then I've got a 3, right? That's kind of cool. Yeah, right.
My greetings.
The worst response that my opponent can have to this is they play a Flame Imp, I have to kill it, then they Mortal Coil my response. Okay, so I can either have a 2-1 on the field and a 3-2, or I can have a 2-3 and nothing else. So obviously I'm going to attack with this and then Fairy Dragon. I've also got a swipe to deal with my opponent's kind of aggression. Harvest Golem?
For the crusade!
Okay, now I'm going to use my hero power. Because I would actually have to trade my whole board for that.
For the wild.
I'm running out of cards really quickly, but I have enough 4s and 5s in my deck that I think I can be fairly assured to get another one. This is pretty strong by not being able to be killed, so I'm actually going to Wild Growth and use my hero power, then trade in.
For the wild.
Because my other option is to have a 1-4 Wind Fury and a 2-1 left on the field at the end of that turn. Too vulnerable to enough stuff. Ooh, Stampede and Coda. That's unfortunate. Fell Cannon.
What's the play plan?
For the wild.
I don't like that, but I mean, this is a mech minion. That's the reason I played it. So if my opponent plays anything that isn't mech, it'll get hit by the Fell Cannon. But if they play something that is mech, I can maybe hit the Fell Cannon and then hit something else, and then swipe the Fell Cannon and have the other thing die as a result. So anything with 3 or less health would have that effect. Tap, lovely. Yeah, non-mech minion, so it can't hit the flying machine, I believe.
Locked and loaded.
Okay. Goodbye, Ironforge Rifleman. Oh, Stampede and Kodo, Druid of the Fang. Here we go. Also really cool is that my opponent cannot run their Fell Cannon into this and then have the Fell Cannon finish it off with the ability, because the ability triggers at the end of the turn and then you can't attack. So they would have to hit mine and then rely on me hitting it back, which I might not do. You know, swipe. Hit mine with the ability and then rely on me hitting it back personally. Okay. Hey, trade. Excellent. That's good for me. Develop something with 2 or less health. 2 or less attack, sorry. Here we go. Here we go. Oh, if you're going to develop anything, it has a chance to be 2 or less attack now. Oh, yeah! We got one. Boom. Even though I could have played Silver Moon Guardian, Chillwind Getty, the savings that an opponent can get from a Mech Warper, I think, are worth instantly killing. But also, this means that I can play the Druid of the Fang for a 7/7 next turn, where neither of these are beasts, so they wouldn't enable that. Otherwise, I was going to have to wait until turn 10 when I could Stampeding Kodo and Druid of the Fang.
I am the blade of the goddess.
Swipe Druid of the Fang? Looks correct.
Snakes. Snakes.
So the opponent's going to need some good Ragnaros or Siphon Soul, or basically my opponent's going to need something huge and swingy to really pull them back into the game now. I've got a very, very substantial board.
You might feel a little tingle.
My shield for Argus.
Okay.
Call for the doctor.
So I'm healing this specifically so that it's out of range of Hellfire. It's also incidentally out of range of Shadow Bomb and Soulfire as well as a result of that. Can't Shadow Flame. Whew, emergency cooling. Okay, how much damage exactly do we have left on the field? Well, 2, 3, 3, 4. So 3, 3, and 4. It's 13. Well played.
Well played.
We didn't actually have lethal though. But we would have gone all for face. Our opponent would have been able to clear 2 of ours, and then we would have had lethal the following turn. Okay. This is feeling like a return to form. I'm starting to feel, I'm feeling a little happy about this. Even if I go, 3 losses from now on, I feel like I'm executing things with consideration, with careful thought, scrutinizing plays, rather than just going, fuck it, man, this feels fun. Which I've been doing far too much of recently.
Malfurion versus Jaina.
Artisan. Excellent.
You asked for it.
Artisanal cheese?
The wild.
No. Art is anal cheese. Mech Warper. It's pretty good. I'm not going second though, so... Actually, Mech Warper is far less good for me than it usually is. Because if I were going second, I coin out the Mech Warper this turn, hopefully my opponent doesn't play anything, and then I Harvest Golem the turn on... No. Chugga, 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 chugga. The only card my opponent can use right now that will instantly kill my Fairy Dragon is Flame Cannon. They also have a 50-50 chance of killing it with the Arcane Missiles. So I'm playing the Spider Tank here because it means that my opponent is locked into using both Fire Blast and the Sorcerer's Apprentice if they want to kill this. And they didn't have Flame Cannon because they didn't play it last turn.
It's clobbering time.
Is that worth a swipe? I think if I had one more source of damage, it would be.
Hurry up. Portal online.
I'm giving my opponent too many targets to hit, is what I'm hoping. So yeah, that ping happens. That tries to hit that. If it hits my face or the other minion, that's fine. Even if it hits that minion, that's okay. Flying Machine Hero Power doesn't really help me. Okay, so it's Gnomish Inventor 100% of the time. Oh, shit, yeah! That's great. That's a fairly commanding position on the board. Now I just have to worry about Blizzard and Flame Strike.
You gotta be kidding me!
You gotta be kidding me! He has that card in his deck? Okay, I have to swipe it. Or I could leave my opponent with that as their kind of handicap for a turn. They can only, what, Blizzard next turn. So how... Am I scared of Blizzard? Otherwise, this is going to be their handicap for a turn, and that's going to be okay. I don't think I'm scared enough of Blizzard to try and play around it.
For the wild.
I think far more likely, this gets to kill one thing next turn, and then I get to swipe it, plus whatever minion my opponent gets to play, that can only be a 3-mana minion. Now you can only play a 1-mana minion. Oh, baby. So I'm very very many cards down. My opponent wouldn't flame strike this board, I don't think. Are they setting up for a flame strike next turn, or do they have the 1 damage to clear it? If they play a 5 mana minion or something like that, then I'll just trade all of my minions into it. There's no reason for me to keep anything back at that point.
I wonder.
Really need my Ancient of Law to buff up my gas so that I can run more. Because I might have the board right now, but if my opponent does Flame Strike, I'm fucked.
What to do?
Tazdingo! Yes! What to do?
This happens 100% of the time. The damage that I want to use to kill this Ancient Shield Master is different, though. I can hit it with this, and then this twice. And then I get 3 damage through, and this stays on the board. Flame Strike only kills 1 thing, so my opponent isn't incentivized to Flame Strike in that case. Yeah, that's actually pretty good.
Join.
This is gonna die anyway. This is a pretty weak minion, so I'm not really... or I could try and save this for 1. That takes 2 mana from my opponent.
Time waits for no one.
I think that actually might end up being valuable. Because my opponent's not going to Flame Strike this board, but if they ping, they can only develop something with 6 mana or less. And the chances of them developing something with 6 mana or less that I can't take care of is lower than them developing something with 7 or 8 mana that I can't take care of. So I kind of want to have to force him to waste mana. Force them to waste mana. God damn it, Ryan.
I wonder.
That's a Stampede and Kodo target if I've ever seen one.
Powering up. Portals online.
Excellent. So in order not to reduce this to the health where a Flame Strike will kill it, I'm gonna run this in, and then kill that, and then use the Stampede and Kodo. Plus, I could only cast 1 card from hand that turn anyway, so there's no reason for me to have played in a different fashion. Flame Strike plus Ping can clear everything but the Druid of the Claw this turn. And it'll remain as a 4-2. Ouch.
For the crusade!
Jesus. I've already used Swipe.
Hey, give me a minute.
So this and this run in. And I Stampeding Kodo, removing the Sludge Belcher. If I attack that and then hit it with my hero power, no, I need more targets against Flame Strike. I need more things on the board against Flame Strike. No, I need more things on the board so that if Flame Strike happens, then they can't all be cleared. And I still pose a fairly credible threat. So that happens, Flame Strike happens, and then this gets pinged. Yep. And then I still have this on the board. God. I'm really hoping on drawing that Starfire now. Ancient of Law would also be pretty good because it would draw me down to the Starfire. It's just I can't let... My opponent can't develop anything big in the meantime, otherwise... well... Ooh. That's difficult to deal with. Starfire. Nope. Black Juggler.
Put this apple on your head.
For the wild.
Fireball does it. I had to break the shield though, so that if I wanted another draw, I needed my opponent not to have Fireball, and also this not to have a shield, otherwise it would kill things too easily. And that would result in me not having a board, and losing the game. Fireball? Yep. Alright, that makes sense. We'll still cut to a part 2 after this, actually. That's fine. I also could have traded the 2-1 into it. But really, there was one draw that won me the game there. And I kind of had to rely on it. That's fine. Alright. Hopefully we'll see you in part 2. There will be a link down in the description below, and hopefully we'll see you there.